Well, I just got done watching The Gray Man, and let me tell you right now, I have two words for you. Ryan Gosling. Holy shit. I had a blast with this movie. I'm so excited to talk about this one. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're discussing Netflix's brand new spy thriller, The Gray Man, directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, starring the likes of Ana de Armas, Ryan Gosling, Jessica Henwick, Billy Bob Thornton, Chris Evans, and so many more. And it's about when the CIA's most skilled operative, whose true identity is known to no one, accidentally uncovers a dark agency secret. A psychopathic former colleague puts a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins. Now, this is a movie that I have absolutely been so excited for. Many reasons, because I actually got a friend who saw this very early at a test screening, who has been hyping it up since day one, and I'm very happy to say that all the hype that he told me lived up to this. This is not just one of my favorite Netflix original films. I would go as far as say this is probably their best action original film, and one of the better action films in quite a while. Think Winter Soldier meets Fast and Furious with a little bit of 007 and John Wick sprinkled all inside of there, and that's a lot of the reason of why I really like this. Now, this is not a perfect movie. I think there are some things that do hold the film back from being that perfect action spy thriller that you're wanting, but from just the bare bones of it all, this is a very exciting thriller that is going into theaters this week that I can't recommend enough. If you do get the chance and it is playing near you, go watch it in theaters, but it will be in Netflix the following week, which even then, still awesome to see. Before we get any further into this review, guys, you guys know what I love seeing is seeing your guys' thoughts down below. What do you think about the trailers? Are you excited for this movie? Did you get to see it early? Let's discuss it all down there, as well as making sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because I have tons of videos coming up very soon. Heading to San Diego Comic-Con next week, and I'm going to do my darn best to get into that Marvel Hall H panel and bring you guys coverage there. So make sure, again, to hit that like and subscribe button so you guys are staying up to date on all sorts of great things like that. But of course, starting with my pros, the main thing, like I said in my intro, was Ryan flippin' Gosling. This mother, I almost said it, this dude is an action hero. Top to bottom, he brings it. And it just reminds me of why Ryan Gosling is one of my favorite actors working in Hollywood. I absolutely loved his performance in this film, and just in general, the mannerisms that he brings to this role, the badass nature to it all, this unknown CIA hunter. This guy is everything that you want, and I love Ryan Gosling in this role, specifically in the way that he really much just carries the movie, and again, the way that he carries this character in a very light that, even though, and I'm going to talk about it in my cons, some of the one-dimensional natures that they have to a lot of these characters, thankfully because of the actors involved, you are able to get a more gravitas performance and understand these characters a little bit deeper just by some minor nuances that they do with these. And I love what Ryan Gosling was able to bring to this. And of course, let's talk about the villain of the film, Chris Evans, who is just pure chaos in almost every single way. I was really, like, his performance, like, everything else is pretty overall serious besides his character, who has a lot of these fun quips, but there are some nice lines in there just when you watch any other spy thriller, how they have those nice lines and dialogue. Chris Evans is just insane in here, and you can totally tell he was having the time of his life. And it was pretty damn great. Plus, Ana de Armas, let's talk about her, how damn badass she was in this. There is one whole finale scene towards the back half leading into a castle where she has all these different type of weapons to use. And it just goes as far to show why we love Ana de Armas so much. And in that moment in particular, I was just sitting there, I'm like, woo! Like, I'm the one cheering for this, man, and I loved it. Then leading out of there, of course, the rest of the cast, Jessica Henwick is great. Billy Bob Thornton was fantastic. Regé-Jean Page, who is from Bridgerton, I probably just mispronounced his name, apologies for that. He's really good in here, too. And Julia Butters is just fantastic, too. I was really surprised to see how much I actually liked her character, because characters like that in films like this sometimes could possibly get annoying. Just like how the Russo brothers really much started to make a name for themselves after Winter Soldier, this goes back to those roots of Winter Soldier in a lot of different ways, specifically in the tone and the stylized of the action scenes in here. And that was the thing that I was very much impressed with, was, of course, like I said, the tone of this entire film, which I just very much vibed with. I loved this kind of world that they really built up in here in this entire espionage type of sequence, as well as the action. Every single action set piece in here is elegant, very thrilling, and at the same time keeps you engaged and locked in. And a lot can be said because the entire story overall is very, well, you've maybe seen it all before. It is something that still kept me engrossed. And a lot of that might go to the performances, but there was not one dull moment where I was sitting there, I was like, oh, let's just get into the next action scene. No, I actually felt for everything. I wanted to see what that next scene would be. And interspliced throughout it all is that fabulous action that is, again, gritty and very balls to the wall, very tightened down and intense at all points in time. Again, I'm trying not to get into spoilers, but the trailers like show nothing. There's a great airplane sequence. There's this whole sequence in this courtyard where Ryan Gosling's like on the back of a chair having to hide behind it while all these people are shooting at him. There's a fantastic hospital scene. The finale is amazing. Every single moment I just talked about, when you see them, especially if you get to see this film in the theaters, you're just going to be like, this is freaking awesome. And again, the Russo brothers, their style that they bring to this movie is shown. The cinematography in here is great, and as well as the score. Of course, when you get Henry Jackman to do the score, you can purely tell that he's going to be able to engage you with something like this, and it felt original, but at the same time nostalgic to Mission Impossible and 007. And in a sense, this film does feel like that perfect homage to spy thrillers that maybe you grew up with, but just now more in the modern age. And I love that. This is something that I would like to see more of. And while, again, maybe it does borrow elements from, of course, Mission Impossible and 007, you're gonna get those comparisons. This is just a movie that I was, again, the biggest word I can give this is engaged with it, and awesome. And I can't get enough of this movie. The more and more I sit on it, the more and more I start to just come to completely love this movie, and I want more. While I have talked a lot of high praises about this movie, the action, the characters, the story, the acting itself, the tone of it all of that is great. I did have some issues that I think did hold the film back from being the top tier, one of the best action films of the last couple of years. One of those things is the backstory for a lot of these characters. These characters, like I mentioned, are pretty one-dimensional. If it wasn't for the actors, I don't think I would have truly come to care about them. But because of how great the performances are, you really start to actually want to see where this is going to go. You want people to survive. You want them to get towards the end of this film and not die off. And that's something that, again, great acting really centers around these characters. There is a little bit of backstory when it comes down to Ryan Gosling's character towards the back half of the film, but I actually feel like certain things were missing, and I think 10 to 15 more minutes, while this runtime is already 2 hours and 2 minutes, I think 10 to 15 more minutes would have really furthered out the development of this character just a bit more. While you get the gist of it, I feel like there was a little bit more to that, and really much even to Ana de Armas's character as well. I think the same can actually be said not just about those two, but everyone. And that's where I really go as far to say I wish there was a little bit more character development with every single person. I wouldn't have minded if this film was a little bit longer to provide that element to it all. As well as, while this is a globe-trotting adventure, it does get a little bit bogged down in the sense of how many different locations you go to, and you're trying to keep track. Okay, they're here. Okay, now they're there. And oh my god, now we're here, and now we're here. The amount of times, if I had $1 for the amount of times that a different area popped up, whether it was London, Shanghai, Bangkok, whatever you want to say it is, I'd be a millionaire after this movie. It felt like thousands to millions of different locations that they went to. And I understand this is a globe-trotting adventure, but come on now. You showed a little bit too much there for me personally, and I would have just pulled back a little bit and reined in the exact locations that they go to, because it never felt like they stayed in one location for too long. I understand for the context of stories why they weren't, but I feel like with a couple more rewrites that could have actually fixed that issue just a bit more to help with everything kind of going on and make it feel a little bit more seamless. Seriously, other than that, this is a flat out awesome movie. This is an action-packed spy thrill ride that mixes the best of Winter Soldier, Fast and Furious, and John Wick, while only missing out on some of the elements when it comes down to backstory and making these characters not as one-dimensional as I really wish they would have. Some of the visual effects in one particular scene could have been a little bit better, and I would have liked to have pulled away from that, but specifically enough, the action here is visceral. Ryan Gosling is truly that action hero. Ana de Armas is just that badass, and Chris Evans is just that definition of pure chaos. I very much enjoyed this one, and I think the more and more I sit on this, the more and more I am going to absolutely love this movie. Again, this is probably one of my favorite action films for the entire year. I cannot wait to go see it again this week, and I've already bought my tickets. I'm going to be watching it when it streams. This, again, is one of the movies that was just right up my alley, and I think if you do like all the things that I talked about, Fast and Furious, Winter Soldier, John Wick, 007, and you're just wanting a really damn good spy thrill ride that's going to knock your socks off and you're just going to get some good action scenes while a pretty engaging story with great acting, this is the film for you. So with all that said, I'm going to give The Gray Man an A-. What a damn good movie. And guys, make sure to look out for a ranking of the Russo brothers films, planning to release that the week of release on Netflix. So make sure to look out for that. Make sure to also hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new here. Comment down below your guys' thoughts, and as well as head on over to Sam Fun Films on how to see films early. But of course, until next time, stay classy.